Dacha How, Washa Michael Larson, Washa Neiman Depung you. Hello, everybody. This is Mike Larson from BBC IML, and this is A Moment with Mike. So, out here this evening, it's getting darker and darker every evening that I do this, and sun is starting to go down further and further. Obviously, it's fall, but I tried to get on Facebook Live, and there was no Facebook Live. That was a big surprise. So, what I do is I do personal and business mentoring and coaching. I create sales, leadership, coaching, team building, and hiring processes for businesses. So today, some interesting things that happened today, but I am continuing to build my investment business, and got a big partner on with me today. A guy I've known for a few years now, with John Maxwell, but he will be Gary White will be joining me, and he's excited about it. It's a great way to help people. We can help them become financially independent. You know, with this program, people have four ways of making money. Basically, you can work for somebody. You can work for yourself. We call it having a business, but really what you're doing is working for yourself. Or you truly can have a business where you don't necessarily have to be there to make money. And then, of course, the ultimate is through investing, where you make your money work for you. So, at any rate, Gary White joined me in that. He's going to be my partner in that, and I know his eyes opened up because he works with some big businesses, and you know, in business, people, when production falls in business, we as management, they like to blame it on, well, they're not motivated, they're not motivated, they're not living up to their expectations. But in our lives, we need balance. We have to have balance, and balance comes in 8 different ways. It's personal development, it's our relationship, significant other or marriage, our career, our finances, our faith or spiritual, our health, our family, our friends. They all have to be good. If any part, that's all the parts of our lives. If any one of those parts of our lives is not where it should be, it's not fulfilling, it's going to affect the rest of our lives. It's just like discipline. If you allow lack of discipline to enter into one part of your life, when you cross that line, it can easily enter into other parts of your life. So if we don't have balance in our life, we're missing something out of our lives. We're not getting fulfillment. And especially if something bad is happening in one area of those lives, our life, it's going to impact the rest of our life. And when production goes down in a business, the first thing you want to do is say, prime management wants to say that they're being lazy, or they're not living up to their expectations. We need to motivate them, and maybe they leverage them, and maybe it's threatening of taking something away. Instead of taking a look at their whole life and treating it with empathy. Empathy is the most important part of leadership. You know, it's hands, heart, and head. Hands, we have to be willing to do whatever we're asking the people that follow us to do. It's head, the person with the greatest vision will naturally become the leader. And then it's heart. We have to have empathy. We have to have unconditional love. We have to show that we care about people, and it has to be genuine. We truly have to care, and we have to care not expecting anything back. Because if you go into it telling somebody how much you care, and it's obvious that they are trying to get something back from you, that's not being genuine. And it's easy to spot genuine. It's easy to spot lack of empathy. It's easy to spot lack of integrity. It really is. People can sense lack of integrity, lack of empathy. And so this program, what I'm excited about with this, being able to help people, especially going into a business like that, is those people are doing a job, and they're doing the job well, and they're getting paid to do that job. And if we don't teach them how to save that money, then they're constantly going, then it's constantly check to check. They feel the pressure of having to do that job well in order that they can make it to the next pay period. And if we can change that, if we can give them a avenue, a process to be able to put money away so they can start making that money work for them, so they don't have to worry about that part of their life anymore. They're not just working for bills, taxes, or debt. Then that makes that part of their life easier, and it's not a burden on the rest of their life. And I believe their production could go up a little bit. It's true in anything. If you know, I lost a dog once. You might think, well, it's a dog. Well, dog becomes part of the family. And I had a dog that was killed by a truck, and that was devastating to me. And my manager, my leader at that time, understood that. And he gave me a day off to collect my thoughts again, because I guarantee if I had gone in that day, I would not have been as productive as I'm capable of doing. You know, you lose a loved one. That's why we give people a couple of days to mourn, to collect their thoughts, to reorganize their thoughts again. If you lose a friend, if all you're doing is working and you're not getting out and doing some of these other things, that starts to impact us. We're not meeting all the parts of our life that we actually need. So this money is just part of it. Health is another part of it. I mean, we have to be healthy. If we're not healthy and we start to get sick, well, obviously that's going to impact on our productivity too. And if we're not understanding the whole life of somebody and looking at that and trying to help them with the parts of their life that aren't going right, we're missing the boat probably most of the time. In my experience in leadership, most of the time, when somebody falls off from leadership, it has nothing to do with ability or believing they can actually do the job. It has to do with something in their life that is taking all their attention, something negative in their life that's taking all the attention. And I say it a lot is where focus goes, energy flows. When we're focused on something negative, that's what we're attracting to ourselves, and it's going to impact everything. When we're focusing on the positive, that's what it's going to attract to us, and everything goes much better in that when we're doing that also. So I was encouraged by the fact that Gary had instantly thought about a couple of businesses that have thousands of employees in those businesses, and they're constantly coaching these businesses. And he instantly thought, well, if I could help financially, that's another part of their life that we can make better, and it makes the people that he's coaching to be better leaders. It makes their job easier also. And that's when we do this, when we're working, we should be adding value to people. We should be thinking of all the ways we can help them. We shouldn't be thinking about what it is that they're going to pay us to do that. We should be thinking about all the things we help them, and people will easily reciprocate when you go beyond what they expect, because that's inspiring them. People are not inspired by what they expect. They're only inspired by what they don't expect. So always looking for that extra little way to serve them is how reciprocation is going to come back to us. And that's why having so many tools in your toolbox are so very important. You know, a good story on that was Ole and Sven. Ole had a tree that he wanted to cut down, and he knew it was going to take him all day if he used his normal way of saw and axe. So he'd heard about this newfangled thing that they had at the store called a chainsaw. So he thought he'd go into the store and he would purchase one of these chainsaws, and Sven was in there, and so Ole went up the counter and said, "I'd like one of those new chainsaws," and Sven says, "Okay," and gets some chainsaw, and he goes home and He works for hours and hours and isn't making a dent on this tree, hardly making a dent. He's thinking, man, I could have just done it with my handsaw. So finally, he calls Sven and he's complaining about this chainsaw, how it hasn't sped up anything. And Sven says, well, I'll come out then and help you out. So Sven comes out and helps Ole out, and Ole says, I got to see this. So Sven goes down there and checks the chainsaw, makes sure the chain is tight, and makes sure there's oil and fuel in it, and turns the choke on, and he pulls it, and the chainsaw starts up, and Ole says, what's that sound? So that is a great, fun way to talk about using tools properly. We need to use all of our tools properly. And we have to have a lot of tools in our chest to be able to help people, to add value beyond what they expect. And that's what truly adding value is about. And that's what leadership is about, is adding value to people. And if you don't have the right tools, you're not going to be able to do it right. And you're not going to be able to lead people like you'd want to. People will easily follow you if they see lots of value in what you're doing and you actually care. It's the old saying, people don't care how much you know, they only want to know how much you care. And knowing enough and having enough tools are the key to being able to do that, but it has to come with empathy and compassion and understanding what people's needs are, what their true needs are when the production falls down, understanding that it's a whole life. It might not be clear right on the surface, so get to know who they are with some empathy and some compassion, and that'll make the difference in it. So I hope this finds you well. I hope you're having a great evening like I am. Have a super fantastic evening. Once again, this has been a Moment with Mike. What I do is personal and business mentoring and coaching. I create sales, leadership, coaching, team building, and hiring processes for businesses. If you have an idea of something you'd like me to talk about, I would appreciate that. You can email me at mike@inspiredmotivatedleadership.com, or you can message me on Messenger. And if you have something that's a challenge in your life you want me to talk about, I don't have to mention any names or anything like that, but I enjoy doing those. So have a super fantastic evening, and we will talk soon.